two ex-lovers.
I loved him, and I was stupid enough to believe in him.
One took care of the other.
I paid for everything.
So what did you do?
Don't speak.
But he finally had enough.
Throughout the relationship, he threatened me. You owe me this, you owe me this, you owe me
I
this.
have threatened him with that.
And yet you gave him more money out of affection.
Now, who owes who?
What amount do you believe that you owed him?
In a relationship, are we keeping track here?
Judge Judy.
I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue.
I want you to have a clue, sir.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinler. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy. 39-year-old John Stanger is suing his ex-boyfriend, 32-year-old Robbie Swanger, for unpaid rent, a cell phone bill, and an unpaid loan. Robbie says none of the items were an issue until they broke up.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 407 on the calendar, the matter of Stanger versus Swanger.
Thank you.
Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. Stanger, you and the defendant, according to your complaint, lived in a relationship for about 6 years.
Yes.
And it is your claim that when the relationship terminated, the defendant was indebted to you for rent, some household bills, cell phone bill, and some money that you loaned to him in the amount of $5,000.
Correct.
The defendant says that you were, in fact, in a relationship, that there was a rather loose financial arrangement, and that there was never a complaint on your part while you were together that you were owed any money. Only after the relationship terminated was there a complaint. Is that your defense, sir?
Yes.
When did you begin living together?
The
What
later
year?
part of 98. I don't have the exact
It was
date.
March of '98.
And when did you move out of the home?
I was thrown out of the home or asked to leave the home in October of this year.
Now, what do you claim is owed to you, and for what, Mr. Stanger?
What I have is he's not paid me rent in full at any time during the time
Your Honor,
Shh, don't interrupt. Go ahead.
during the time of the end of last year up until the end of this past year.
And when, for the first time, did you complain about that?
I've complained about it over and over. I had bills to pay. I mean, I paid for everything.
so what did you do with the money?
Mr. Swanger, don't make this any more difficult, please.
I don't think I'm the one making it difficult.
Good. So that let's wait until it's your turn. When did he give you money, sir, during the course of this year?
Periodically, when his pay periods came around, I would ask him, you know, don't you have something you need to give me? You know, you owe me money. And
Ask
he would
me,
say,
half the
well,
time you would come up.
I'm going to say it
after
again.
my
1,
check.
2, 3. Mr. Swanger, have I been respectful to you?
Yes, you have.
In a court, you're supposed to be respectful. There are certain rules. Plaintiff goes first. The defendant responds to questions. That's the way this works. If you want to have a discussion with Mr. Stanger, then you do it outside, you do it over coffee, you do it in the living room, you do it, you know, out in the street. That's a discussion. Then you talk back and forth. When you're here, I ask questions, you answer them. Unless I'm looking at you for an answer, do not speak. Do we understand each other?
Yes.
Good. Go ahead.
just from what you're seeing, that's his arrogance. Any time that I've ever tried to ask him to
Mr.
give me-
Stanger, his arrogance may be, but you lived with him. I'm not here to resolve that. Did you keep a register of how much he gave you each month? The answer is either yes or no.
No.
How do you know how much he owes you?
Well, at one point in time, we were both discussing what he felt he owed me, and he said about $6,500. I says, but still, there's other monies that you owe me too, for bills that you didn't pay that you used in my name that I didn't know about. For instance, a Cellular One, he ran a bill up in his name for $600 and something, and then they turned it off, and he had one activated in my name, ran that up to over $1,000.
When did you find out about that, sir?
Well, it was 2000, actually.
And you didn't
was
separate,
when-
actually, until December of 2001. Did you immediately close that account?
Actually, I received a phone call. It was a collection agency that I had owed this money. I had him, and I had filled out an affidavit, sent it to the company, stating that, you know, I was not responsible. I did not authorize it. I never signed anything for that phone.
But you could have proceeded further, sir. If he forged your name to documents to open up an account,
Well, they
you are
said-
not responsible.
They are
Just-
holding me responsible.
Well, they can't hold you responsible, sir. If you wish to proceed with it criminally, they don't have to hold you responsible at all.
I have threatened him with that and told
So
him that I
do
would
it.
take it to
So
the
do
district
it.
attorney.
Well, listen, so do it.
He said that he would pay it. And, of course, I loved him, and I was stupid enough to believe in him and give him chance after chance and, putting me in harm's way continuously.
A year is a long chance, Mr. Stenger, so you didn't answer my question. Had they turned off that phone?
It was turned off, I guess, prior to when I found the bill and then when I received that phone call.
Now tell me about this loan that you claim, sir. What was it for?
Well, I loaned him monies to fix a vehicle that he had. So
when was that, Mr.
This
Stenger?
was earlier in the year. I forget the date that I'd put down.
It was April of this year, or of 2001.
He was just lying to me. He never paid me back on it. And plus...
How much did you give him?
It was actually $498, but I took off some of on the amount because he had given me $35 or something. I didn't really keep track of that because there was just so many astronomical figures of how much he owes me. So I was just stupid for really putting up with this as long as I did.
Right. You were. Because if it was in April that you loaned him this money, that was after you found out about the telephone. Is that right?
I knew of the phone, yes, for a couple of years.
So you knew of the phone for a long time, and he hadn't paid you, according to you, any money on the phone. Is that right?
Right.
And yet you gave him more money. For the time that you were together, this was like a marriage. That's what it was. And you anticipated that it would go on for a very long time. And that but for the fact that you separated, for whatever reason, you wouldn't be here today.
Right.
Now, is there anything you want to say?
Oh, yeah.
Do you listen at all?
Yeah, I listen.
What did I just say?
That if there hadn't been a problem with monies in the relationship, we wouldn't be here to begin with.
No, that's not what I said at all. You have to
want
listen
restate
carefully.
To me what it was you said?
I said, but for the fact that the relationship terminated, we would not be here today.
Oh, if we were still together.
Right.
Correct. Throughout the relationship, he threatened me, you owe me this, you owe me this, you owe me this. I didn't keep track of what it was that I had paid him. I did agree with him. I may owe you for past rents, but I pay for this, this, and this. In a relationship, are we keeping track here?
Well, then, since you choose to respond, Mr. Swanger, I'm going to ask you a few other questions, sir. Did there ever come a time when you sat down with the plaintiff and discussed what, in fact, you did owe him?
Oh, there were several times when it came to the point that he was trying to throw me out of the house and had everything I owed in the foyer.
Just a second.
Sure,
Mr.
there
Swanger,
was.
did there ever come a time when you came to a dollar figure?
Yes, there was.
And what was it that you agreed that you owed him?
It came up to over $5,000. It came up to like $8,000. But we also weren't taking into account the things that I had paid for as well either.
Oh, fine. All right. So, see if you.
I mean, when you're in a
I
relationship
hope
and you should
you all
have,
understand. Okay.
instead
so,
of
Mr.
paying
Swanger,
rent,
pay
shouldn't you take the
attention. You're
bills and meet
speaking.
them
You're
in
not
half?
listening. So there came a time when you sat down and you agreed that it was over $6,500, closer to $8,000, but he wasn't taking into account what monies you had in fact paid him. Now, what monies do you claim that you had in fact paid him? Give me a rough estimate.
I didn't keep a receipt of it.
Now, give
When
me
you're
a
in
rough.
relationship, what the
Mr.
heck are you gonna
Swanger,
keep a receipt
listen.
of it for?
Don't speak. What amount do you believe that you had paid him towards the money that you owed him?
I couldn't say. I didn't
Well, I
keep
want you
an
to
account.
try. No, listen to me. I want you to try, sir. What amount, if you were to be very generous with yourself, what amount do you believe that you gave him towards the money that you now agreed that you owed him?
I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue.
Well, now,
All
I want you
know
to
is
have a
when
clue. I want you to have a clue, sir.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. John Stanger says ex-boyfriend Robbie Swanger owes for rent, bills, and loans. Robbie says he had no idea John was keeping a tab.
Now, you had some idea whether you did have an agreement that you would give him $500
I was paid
a month?
bi-weekly. There was times he would come up and he would get my whole paycheck. There were months when I would just pay bills and not give him $500. I mean, I wasn't keeping in account how much I had actually paid.
Were there months, Mr. Stanger, that the defendant paid some bills?
Yes,
The answer-
there were several months in between that, he would pay and then months that he wouldn't pay. That's how we came up with the figure, and I figured it about a year's rent. There was no set date that it was absolutely 12 months consecutively. This is what we agreed upon and what we figured and what I figured. I didn't
He kept
write it
track
down.
of everything, but when I'd give him money, I didn't keep track of it.
Evidently didn't keep
when you're
track
married, you
because
don't
he
keep
doesn't
track.
have
That
a
was my
register.
bad business for not writing everything
Well,
down
then,
at the
Mr.
time.
Stanger, you can't expect a court to resolve the issue of a dollar amount of money unless you come to me equipped with information. I don't make a calculated guess about how much he owes you.
He's written me 2 checks, and with these 2 checks in the memo, he even puts 1/3 payment, recognizing that he did owe me this money.
Well, let me see the checks. 1/3 payment of what?
1/3 payment towards all the monies that he's owed
Well, then
me
let
to
me
the
see.
$8,000.
Let me see.
Also, you know,
Sure, just a second. Let me see that.
they were
Maybe
checks that were no good. I could not even cash them.
No, let
He
me
had
see what you
insufficient
have.
funds.
Let me see what you have.
He did it twice.
Just a second. Would you show this to the defendant, please?
He was trying to make good on something, but
Remember writing that, sir?
Yes, I do.
All right, that seems to indicate, sir, that you had agreed on a specific amount of money, Mr. Swonger, that you did, in fact, owe the plaintiff.
And like I said, we had, but
No, you didn't say that, sir.
yes,
You
I
didn't
did.
say
I said
that.
we sat down and I sat down with him and we came to a dollar figure.
No, that's not
But
what
we
you
didn't
said,
take
Mr.
into-
Swonger. What
yes,
you
it was.
said
We
was
didn't
you
take
came
into
to a
account what
dollar
I had
figure.
already
Nobody
paid
speaks
him.
when I speak. You say that you came to a dollar figure, but that did not take into account the money that you had already given him. That's what you said. That's exactly what you said. You didn't say that you came to a dollar figure of what you owed. And then I said to you over and over again, well, what was it that you in fact gave him so I can deduct that from what you agreed that you owed him? And you said, I can't tell you. But here it is clear that you agreed that you owed him minimally the amount that he's suing for because you made certain payments.
But what about the monies I
One-third
had
payment,
paid to him?
$2,000. But that check was no good.
no good.
But that's what you wrote. 1/3 payment, $2,000.
And do you know why that check was written? Because I came home and all my things were in the foyer of the house, and it was done under distress as to our relationship was built on money and
Your
not.
Honor, he
not-
was
Then
having
you
an
wrote
affair,
another
and
check,
I
sir,
had
a
I
month
had an
later.
affair. He's getting more rides and Greyhound.
Then you
than
wrote
I've had an
another check,
affair.
sir, a month later for $2,000. Was that check cashed?
And stop
Nope.
payment.
You stopped payment on that
Exactly,
check.
you did.
So it's clear. It says something about balance, $6,000. And then you stopped payment on that. So was your furniture out in the hallway, sir, from September 21st, 2001 until October 2001?
It was back and forth. It was a
It was
roller
back and
coaster.
forth. Judgment for the plaintiff and the amount requested, $5,000. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The guy's like a doorknob. Everybody's had a turn. And when I did it back to him,
Takes a bad matter, makes it worse by going out and starting a new relationship with somebody else and expecting me to live with that with him. And I just wasn't going to have it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Brown versus Torres. Step forward, please.
23-year-old air traffic controller Christine Brown is suing her former friend, 23-year-old independent contractor Jason Torres, for an unpaid loan to get his car out of the shop.
Ms. Brown, you claim a loan to the defendant in the amount of some $434.
Yes, Your Honor.
That loan, you say, was made so that he could get his car out of the repair shop. The defendant acknowledges that you gave him $434. Is that correct, sir?
yes,
And says it was a gift that you insisted upon giving him. That's your defense.
yes.
Okay. How do you know each other, Ms. Brown?
We met about 4 years ago.
You were
We just
friends?
friends. And I trusted him. So on March 20th, when we were talking on the phone, he told me that he needed $400 to get his car out of the shop. And I told him the only way I would give him $400 was if he would pay me back that weekend because I didn't get paid for another week and a half, and I only had $400 in my account. So he promised me that he would pay me back by Sunday, the whole $400.
What's the $34 for?
That's just a service charge for the Western Union.
Where was he living and where were you living?
He was living in North Hollywood, ma'am, and I was living on base in Lemoore, California.
You are in the armed forces?
Navy, yes, ma'am.
And he was supposed to pay you back on Sunday. Were you supposed to see him on that Sunday?
I was actually supposed to see him on Friday. We talked on the phone Thursday after I wired him the money. He told me he got it, and he told me that we were going to go out on Friday night, and he would have half of the money for me. So I called him Friday night, and he never answered his cell phone. He was never home. And I tried calling him Saturday. I went to his house. His family said he wasn't there. And Sunday came around. I went to his house again. I called him continuously on his cell phone. He never answered it, and he was never on his home. So I went back to the base, and I never heard from him again.
Mr. Torres, you tell me how this money was transferred to you, sir?
She wired me the money through Western Union.
How did she know how much money you needed?
Because I had told her when we were at dinner a few
So you were
nights
out at dinner.
before.
When?
Yes. I don't remember what night it was, but we had spoken on the phone. She came down and told me she wanted to see me. She picked me up and we went to dinner.
And tell me about how the conversation came about this money that you needed for the car.
Well, she asked me where my car was, and I had explained to her that I had gotten in a car accident and that I would be getting my car out of impound. Not impound, out of the shop as soon as I had the rest of the amount, because my deductible was about $1,000, and I only had about $600 of that.
Okay, and what did she say to you?
She offered me the money.
What did she say?
She said, I can give you the money.
And what did you say?
I said, thank you, but no thank you. And then she insisted that
what did she say?
She said, I insist that you take the money. I would like to help.
Okay, and you said?
I said, no.
And she said?
Later on, towards the end of the dinner, she brought it up again and said that I should swallow my pride and not be too ashamed to accept help from a friend.
Okay, and you said?
And I thought about it and I said, okay.
All right, so she went back, she drew out the money, and she wired you the money.
Yes.
Now, did you have an appointment to meet with her that Friday evening?
No, I didn't.
Did you have any contact with her again at all?
No, I didn't.
Why not?
I had tried to get a hold of her.
How?
Calling her.
When did you try to call her?
I tried calling her after I had received the money.
And you couldn't get her?
No, I couldn't.
Well, where did you try to call her? At the base?
I tried calling her at home.
And did you get an answering machine?
No, I did not.
How many times did you call her?
I tried calling 3 times that evening.
You mean to say thank you for the money?
Yes.
And you couldn't reach her?
No, I couldn't.
And when did you try again to reach her?
I tried the following day.
After March 21st, when did you contact her?
I hadn't tried for about another week or so.
Yeah?
And I tried again, and once again, I could not reach her.
And then you just stopped calling?
Yeah.
Why?
I hadn't heard from her, and so I figured I'd let her call me.
But she was the one who sent you $400.
Yes, she was.
So you mean after you got the money, you never spoke to her?
No, I didn't. I had tried to get a hold of her to speak to her, but I was unable to.
You had her home address?
Yes, her home address? No,
Yes.
I did not.
Know how to contact her at home?
Just through that telephone number.
You don't have her address? You don't know what the base that she stays
No,
on?
I knew it was somewhere up in the morning. It was the first time I had spoken to her in quite some time. She called me up to ask if I'd like to do something. She came down, picked me up, and we got into this conversation. And that's how this came to be.
Ma'am, that is true. After a long time, I did call him to see if he wanted to hang out, and that was Tuesday night. Wednesday night was when we talked on the phone. He never mentioned anything at dinner about anything about his car
That's not
needing
true.
$400. It was on the phone that we discussed it. And I told him that I needed it by Sunday, and we did make plans on Friday night to go out.
No, we didn't.
He is
Okay.
lying about
No,
that.
I'm not.
Now, Mr. Torres, how long were you saving? How much longer did you think you would have to save up in order to get your car out of impound?
Probably another week or two. Not impound, repair shop.
Repair shop. So you had the $600 already,
Yes.
and you needed just another week or so to put together the other $400.
Yes. It's because I was using my car for work at the time.
Okay.
And so I wasn't able
So
to
I
make
would
money.
assume that another week or so went by and you had the additional $400. Is that
Yes.
right? So why didn't you wire her the money back?
I didn't have an address to wire to her. I tried to get a hold of her on the telephone, and I could not.
Did you try to get her on the phone, say a week or so later, to tell her that you now had the money together?
Yes, I did.
So that you planned on paying her back?
Yes, I did.
Perfect. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $434. I thought we'd get there. Thank you.
Always are excused. You may step out.
Judge
Plain case of being given money, not a loan, and she took me to court for it.
I've tried to contact him for 8 months, and I never could contact him, so this was my last resort.
Bitter, I didn't want to see her anymore, and really not much for me to say.
I'm very upset about it, and we were friends, but now I'm never going to speak to him again.
a mother's worst nightmare.
She took them, and then my daughter told me they had been left in the car with the windows rolled up and the doors locked.
That's not true.
A babysitter's neglect.
What was the temperature?
It was probably like 80, 85.
My youngest daughter was severely dehydrated.
Judy slaps the wrist that rocks the cradle.
You don't leave 3 children in a car in 85-degree weather.
Judge Judy.
That's outrageous. That's outrageous.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinman. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy. 24-year-old former babysitter Charity McCumber is suing one-time client, 27-year-old waitress Chastity Newby, for terminating her daycare services without proper notice. Chastity says Charity neglected her children. She's countersuing for medical bills and lost wages.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom. All rise. Miss.
Your Honor, this is case number 84 on the calendar in the matter of McCumber versus Newby. You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats.
Miss McCumber, according to the complaint that I have read, you were employed by the defendant as a babysitter for her 2 children, her little girl who was 5 and a baby who was a year and a half old. You claim that she fired you.
Yes.
She fired you owing you money.
Yes.
And she has some of your property. The defendant says that she owes you nothing and is counterclaiming because she says that because of your negligence, one of her children was hospitalized for 3 days. How did you come to work for her?
A friend of mine had gotten my number from her, and then she contacted me because I was going to start a child daycare center. And she didn't want to bring the children to my home, so I went to her home.
Are you a licensed daycare provider?
I'm getting my license.
So you are not a licensed
No.
daycare provider. Do you have your own children?
I have 1 son.
How old is your son?
He's 10 months.
So you would be watching 3 children.
Right.
And what was the salary arrangement?
I was supposed to get paid $15 a day for the baby and $12 a day for the 5-year-old.
So a total of $27 a day.
Correct. She was also to give me a 2-week notice if she wasn't gonna, if she was gonna have another babysitter.
Okay, is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
What's not correct?
There was no verbal agreement about a 2-week notice, either on my part or her part.
Okay. Were there any problems that occurred between the time you started to work for her, which was the 15th of February?
Correct.
And mid-April when you were fired?
There was a couple times where she had called me complaining that I was not taking care of her children right, that I wasn't giving them enough attention, I wasn't feeding them correct.
What happened in April?
I had to go and pick up my nephew from preschool, and I had told her on Monday I had to get him on Friday. And I took the children with me, and I had the baby and my son in a car seat, and I had the 5-year-old in the front seat with a seatbelt. When we got there, I went inside and grabbed my nephew.
That's not where you would normally put the 5-year-old, is that right?
No, I put her in the front seat just like her mom does.
There's no airbags in my car.
Go ahead.
When I got to the preschool, my son was sleeping, and the night before I had taken him to the emergency room. And I didn't get home until midnight, and my son did not sleep the rest of the night. So since he was sleeping, I didn't want to disturb him because it was the first time he had gotten to sleep. I knew I just had to go into the door, grab my nephew, and come right back out. So I didn't see any harm in leaving the 5-year-old with the 2 children, since he was sleeping, running in and coming right back. I was gone maybe 1 to 2 minutes. That was it. Actually, the night before, when I went to the emergency room, I had asked her to if she could find somebody else to watch her children because my son was so sick. She told me she would try to get her aunt.
Just a minute. We're going back. You left the 3 children in the car.
Correct.
And I assume you locked the car.
Yes.
Where do you live?
Kingman, Arizona.
What was the temperature in April?
It was probably like 80, 85 at the time.
Did you leave the car on or off?
I left it off with the windows rolled down.
With the windows rolled down?
Uh-huh.
The windows were up.
Just a second. So anybody could have come in the car in that minute or 2?
There were people outside, and I had asked one of the teachers to watch the car.
How old was your nephew that you were picking up?
4.
Where did you put your nephew in the car?
In the back seat.
Strapped in?
Yes.
Why didn't you put her 5-year-old there?
Because I let her be in the front seat so she could see everything, and I figured since I was watching her...
She can't see a thing. She's 5 years old. She can't see over that. All she's looking at is the dashboard.
My nephew likes to be in the back seat with his cousin. That's why I put him back there. I always put him back there.
Have you picked your nephew up from school before with the children?
Yes.
With or without her permission?
With.
Is that right?
Before, not this time. Yes, this time was without my permission. I told her not to leave.
Okay.
That's not true.
Okay. What time did you get home with the children?
Noon.
Go ahead.
When I got back to the house, my son had gotten a higher temperature. I called Chastity at work to find out about, calling her aunt to be there. She told me that she couldn't call because she was too busy, that when her husband got home that I could have him call the aunt to see if the aunt could come. When he did come home, probably about 10 minutes after I called her, when he got out of the car, he started cussing, saying that he shouldn't have even came home.
So what did you do?
He told me to go ahead and leave. When I returned home, after being at the doctor's all day, my girlfriend was there because she comes over every day from when her husband works. When she called my girlfriend, she started cussing and saying I was a bad mother, that I was neglectful, and that I shouldn't have been able to babysit her children.
Did she speak to you?
I called her back. She told me that I neglected the children, that she was going to file a police report on me if I filed a small claims on her. She said that I shouldn't be allowed to watch children because I was unstable. Then she told me that she didn't want me to watch her kids again, and I told her fine.
Had you been paid for that week?
No, she did not pay me for that week.
And how many hours did you work that week?
I worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
You didn't work Thursday?
Half day.
Not even a half day. $27 a day?
Correct.
$81 for the 3 days?
Correct.
So what are you suing her for $415.98 for?
For the 2-week notice that we verbally agreed to, and she's got some of my belongings.
Now, what belongings do you claim she has?
She has a black sweater that I had left that day.
Do you have a black sweater of hers?
Not a black sweater. I have a stuffed animal dog of hers. I have a box of baby cereal and a little thing of juice. That's all I have at my
can of
house.
formula.
Oh, come on. You're talking about nonsense, Miss McCumber.
When it's $20 a can.
Wick pays for it, though, so.
Just a second. You have those things? You have some
Yes,
formula?
I do.
Fine. Put them in a shopping bag, and we'll make arrangements for those things to come back to her. All right. You want to tell me your version of the events
please.
that happened, and I assume you want to tell me something of your counterclaim.
Yes. Charity did watch my children for 2.5 months. Within that time, we had a couple problems. I asked her to feed my kids nutritionally. I didn't want them fed hot dogs or Pop-Tarts every single day, and that was one of the problems.
No.
And
don't interrupt her. She didn't interrupt you.
the reason I knew this is there was a couple occasions where I would always ask, how did the kids eat today? What did they eat? And she would tell me, oh, they had a cheese sandwich and applesauce. Well,
Miss Newby,
the applesauce jar wasn't even open, so she would lie about what she fed them.
Let me tell you this. Finding proper child care for working parents is a very difficult thing, and sometimes you blink and turn the other way if things aren't 100% perfect. But I would assume, Miss Newby, that if you felt as if she was really neglecting your children, you wouldn't have allowed her to watch your children for 2.5 months.
She had promised and said she would do better, that she wouldn't lie anymore, that she would take better care of the children, she would take my kids outside. And as far as her leaving with my kids in the car, that was another problem. She had gone 2 other times with my permission. She had called me at work, told me it was an emergency. I said, okay. Then I talked to her about it, and I told her I did not want it to happen again.
So you didn't give her permission?
She called me at work. She asked me, which she had already taken them, and I told her no. And when I got home, first my husband told me, she brought the little boy over again today. She took him, and then my daughter told me they had been left in the car with the windows rolled up and the doors locked.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Charity McCumber says former client Chastity Newby owes her for babysitting fees and the return of personal belongings.
Go ahead.
My youngest daughter all week had a bad diaper rash, and every night I would come home and...
All week? You mean the last week?
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
And I would come home, and by the next morning, I would have it just about gone, and then the next day I would come home, and it was back terribly, bleeding bad. She didn't have permission to take my children. She shouldn't have done it. She asked me. I told her, no, you don't leave children in a car under any circumstances.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Not even for a minute. Not for a minute or two, and it takes more than a minute or two to go in, sign a child out of daycare. Even if it takes 3 or 4 minutes, you don't leave 3 children in a car in 85-degree weather, locked in a car. Not for a minute. But you have a counterclaim. You want to tell me about the counterclaim you have?
My youngest daughter was severely dehydrated. I took her to the doctor Friday, and we tried to bring her back home and get her hydrated at home, which we couldn't do. She was back in the emergency room Saturday being IV'd. She ended up being admitted, and she stayed 3 nights, I believe, for dehydration. And I believe most of it was Charity's care.
It may be, but you understand for a counterclaim such as yours, you need some medical proof of that. The circumstance of her having been in the plaintiff's care and then being hospitalized doesn't necessarily make a case for a counterclaim. You understand that? Okay. So I'm going to have to dismiss your counterclaim, but I'm going to get to your claim. Ms. McCumber, I find that even if there was an agreement to give you 2 weeks' notice, you breached your contract of care for the defendant's 2 children when you took them without her permission, and even if you had her permission, if you took them on an errand and even for 30 seconds locked them in a car. Never, you will never, if they have this information, get a daycare license, because that is such poor judgment to leave a 5-year-old in a car watching 2 infants in a locked car. There is never an emergency that would permit that. And you did it because you didn't want to disturb your baby.
Correct.
Because, well, that's outrageous. That's outrageous. You had an obligation to disturb your baby's sleep, to take all 3 children out of the car, go into the daycare center, pick up your nephew if it was an emergency, come back and hope that your son fell back to sleep. But because you didn't want to inconvenience or disturb your son's sleep, you placed all 3 children at risk. So even if there was an agreement for 2 weeks' notice, I found that you breached your agreement to provide adequate care for the children. However, you have to pay her for the 3 days that she worked for you. Because if you were dissatisfied with her care of the children, and if you felt Monday that your daughter had a diaper rash, and you let her take care of your children on Tuesday, and the diaper rash came back and it was even more aggravated, and then Wednesday you let her do it again, that's poor judgment on your part.
Right.
Right? Sometimes necessity forces you to do that. But that's poor judgment on your part. That doesn't negate the fact that she performed a service for you for 3 days. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and you owe her $81, judgment for the plaintiff.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I tried to quit before, and she begged
wouldn't
me.
let her. She
No.
begged her to
So,
come back.
Yep.
She didn't take care of them. She didn't feed them. She left them in a car on an 85-degree day. That's neglect.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ball versus Ball. Step forward, please.
36-year-old tanning salon owner Wanda Ball is suing her ex-husband, 40-year-old carpenter Gary Ball, for the cost of storing his belongings while he was in prison.
According to your complaint, your former husband was incarcerated for a period of time. While he was incarcerated, you paid for a storage unit for some of his property, and when he was released from jail, he refuses to pay you for the stuff that you were storing.
Correct.
What were the storage fees?
The total was $790.
And tell me how it came about that you started to pay for the storage unit.
When he was incarcerated, he had asked my son to take care of his storage, which had a bunch of his tools in it. What had happened is my son was with him when the police pulled Gary over, and they arrested Gary and took him to jail. My son is the one who had the key to the storage unit that Gary had gave to him.
Could you come up here for a moment? Tell me your name.
Keith Ball.
Keith, how old are you?
14.
Do you remember having a conversation with your dad about the things that he had in storage?
Yes, ma'am.
What did he tell you?
Just keep the storage for him, and that's all we have.
Did he give you the key?
Yeah.
When did he give you the key, Keith?
Before he went to the car.
Before he went to the police car?
Yeah.
Have a seat, Keith. Very good. All right. What was the next thing that you did?
The next thing that I did is I contacted his family. His family said that they were not going to pay for it. They were just going to let him lose $10,000 worth of his equipment that was in the storage unit.
Go ahead.
When he went to jail, he had made a collect call, and he contacted me and told me what was going on. I knew he was going to be sent away to prison for a year. Gary asked me to pay for the storage unit.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm ready for you.
Okay. Well, I'm a self-employed carpenter. Well, right now I'm working in a trailer factory. Me and Wanda's been divorced for 12 years, but we actually have lived together 4 or 5 or 6 years in between then. I've been to prison before in '96 for a year, and she took care of my stuff for criminal mischief. She took care of my stuff, and she gave my stuff back to me when I got out. And after that, we even got back together for a year or two.
All right, let's talk about this date, sir. You picked up in February of 2000. Your son's in the car with you. Were you picked up for a parole violation?
Probation.
Probation violation.
Right.
And what was the original charge?
A battery.
That's more than criminal mischief.
That's 96 was the criminal mischief.
Did you hand your son the key to the storage unit?
Yes, I did.
What did you say to your son?
To take care of this is our inheritance, this is our investment, that I'm going to be going to prison.
Well, you knew your son didn't have any money, right?
Right.
So you expected the plaintiff to pay for the storage unit?
Actually, we had talked on the phone, and we talked about selling the stuff.
Yes.
And
is that what you wanted her to do?
She could give me much as money she wanted to, and she could keep the... That's what I asked her to do at first, to sell it.
Just a second. So at first you asked her to sell all your tools.
Right.
Well, that wouldn't give you a way of earning a living.
Right, but it would actually maybe give me a lawyer and make my sentence a little less.
Did you change your mind about selling your stuff?
Actually, I was glad she did, because actually I make more money with this equipment than I do working inside the factory.
So you've been out of prison now for 6 months?
Right.
And you make more money now?
Actually, I'm still in the trailer factory because my parole officer wants me to stay inside the factory, and she wants me to stay inside the factory because of the insurance, and she makes sure she gets a check every week for support.
You mean you work and you pay for child support?
Right.
Sounds right. Where are your tools now?
My tools are...
Now look at me. Where are your tools now?
My tools are in my sister's garage.
Why weren't they in your sister's garage before?
I asked them plenty of times to get with my brother and my sisters to get my tools out of there before they double locked it. Matter of fact, when I got out, it was double locked. She gave me the money to get the double lock off so that I could get my tools out of it.
How much did she give you?
$190, and I did give that $190 back to her.
Your Honor, he is lying. He never gave me $190.
All right, Mr. Ball, one must only assume that you paid for the storage unit because your sister's garage was not available at the time. Otherwise, somebody who's earning a moderate amount of money doesn't pay for a storage unit. So you intended to keep your stuff in the storage unit and use it as necessary. Is that a fair statement?
Right.
And the fact that you went to jail and she was very nice and paid for the storage unit for you while you were in jail because at 8 cents an hour you weren't going to be able to pay for it yourself, why should she be stuck behind the 8 ball for $790?
Well, actually, she really took care of something that's going to help her out. I do maintenance on her salons. I do maintenance on her rental properties.
Charge her.
Well,
he does
that's
not.
Just a minute, charge her.
That's what will happen.
Charge her. If she thinks your prices are too steep, she'll get somebody else to do it.
Right.
Very nice. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $790.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Never trust your ex.
Actually, it was another woman that I'm involved in with.
I'm happy. My son's happy.
It's a revengeful thing.
There is no revenge. He's with another woman. I'm with another man.
I did a lot more bigger favors for her.
He's $29,000 behind in child support right now. I did it as a favor to my son and to him. I'm just glad I won.
She bought her boyfriend new wheels.
I said, I really can't afford it. She says, look, I'll help you with the payments.
Then he drove her back to her ex.
I had a call from her husband stating she's back with him now.
But getting her money back.
I took the car back.
What do you mean you took the car back?
Took it back to the dealership.
May be harder than she thinks.
All this you don't have any proof of. You have no paperwork, you have no nothing.
Judge Judy.
Well, usually people bring paperwork when they come to court.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinman. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy. 36-year-old office manager Karen Frawley and her husband Brett Frawley are suing their neighbor, 77-year-old bookkeeper Jeanette Shapiro, for damage to a vehicle cover and for half the cost of a fence. Jeanette is countersuing, claiming the Frawleys mutilated her tree.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 554 on the calendar in the matter of Frawley versus Shapiro. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated.
Mr. and Mrs. Frawley, you and Mrs. Shapiro are next-door neighbors, I assume. Is that right?
That's correct.
According to your complaint, Mr. and Mrs. Frawley, the defendant's gardener caused some damage to a cover of a trailer that was on your property.
Correct.
And you want the defendant to pay for the damage to that cover. Additionally, you say that you were forced to put up 2 separate fences on your property, separating your property from the defendant's property, and you want her to pay for half the cost of those fences. That's what your case is about. The defendant has a cross-complaint that you maliciously cut down a branch of a tree that was very precious to her, and she says that you have been harassing her, so she has a counterclaim. So this sounds like a very untenable situation for people to be in, neighbors who don't get along. So let's hear about the problem with this tarp cover that was covering your trailer.
Well, on December 18th of last year, my wife and I returned home from work and noticed our travel trailer cover had sustained damage. We noticed or examined actually the height and the pattern of the damage and concluded that it was caused by the exhaust of a gardener's leaf blower.
It had burned like a 4-foot-long hole across the cover, and you could tell that it was a burn mark.
Let me see, you have pictures of it, I assume?
Yes, sure. That's it.
Okay, so you came home and you found these burn holes. What did you do?
My husband had seen 4 gardeners on our driveway before when he happened to be home from work a day when they had come, and he had asked them not to stand on our property because their backpack thing actually put some dents in our trailer. But when he mentioned it to them, they just kind of acted like there was a language barrier, like they maybe didn't understand.
So you had seen them standing on your property, blowing the leaves on the defendant's property through her property.
Well, I only observed them the one time, and there was an individual standing on her property and an individual standing on my driveway. And I asked the one standing on my driveway if he could conduct his business from her property, and he appeared as though there was a language barrier.
Right.
Okay.
So when this incident happened, though, I actually typed up a little note and put it in her mailbox, just asking her for the name and address of her gardeners, because they should have been the ones that we needed to address this issue with, and she chose to ignore my request.
You did receive this note.
I did. So when that went unacknowledged, I said...
Why, just a second, why didn't you acknowledge this letter?
I thought it was harassment.
You did? Why
Yes.
would you think this was harassment?
Because it's been going on for some time.
Prior to December 19th, when had the plaintiffs communicated with you?
I have a dog that I walk every morning. They had acquired a very small terrier, allowing it to go to the bathroom on my front lawn. I ran outside and asked her to never let that dog go on my lawn again, and she grabbed me. I thought that she perhaps would throw me to the floor, to the grass.
When was this, Mrs. Shapiro?
It was last fall. I can't tell you the date.
What month?
Well, we'll say November, October. I don't know exactly.
October, November. Prior to that, had you had any difficulty with the
Yes,
plaintiffs?
they cut the tree. I have pictures here. They cut the crown out of the tree.
When was that?
That was in June or July.
Okay, so you had the tree and you had the dog, months apart. But this letter is very clear. This letter says, please provide us with the name and address and phone number of your gardener because he has damaged our property.
I ignored it because I thought it was more harassment.
Okay, go ahead. What's next?
Well, then I sent her a certified letter return receipt, and she refused to pick it up from the post office. So then I sent one via regular mail so that I would have all my bases covered.
Okay, and you did in fact receive this letter asking for $280.25.
I didn't receive it as certified mail.
No, you received it as regular mail.
As regular
And did you
mail.
do anything after you received this letter?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, then we ended up putting up a wood fence just because we could tell that with no help from the defendant, there was no way we were going to be able to protect our belongings from future damage without preventing them from walking on our property completely.
Let me see.
So this was the $1,400 we spent on the wood
I'm not
fence.
interested in the $1,400 fence. I'm interested in a picture of the
pictures?
fence. Okay, so now you have a fence up, so there's no more problem with the gardener.
Correct.
Good. That saves a lot of trouble. Nice fence. She's not going to pay for it. Put it up, you pay for it.
Okay.
What's next?
We ended up having to put up a chain link fence to protect the rest of our property because there was an incident where some stuff was stolen from the side of our house.
You don't think Mrs. Shapiro did?
No, I know she didn't do it.
Of course. So you put up another fence, and you also want her to pay for half of that fence.
Correct.
But that's not going to happen. Okay. Now I'll hear you, Mrs. Shapiro, with regard to these holes that were clearly burn marks. Did you discuss it with your gardeners?
I did discuss it with my gardener. I don't see my gardener. They come when I'm at work.
Well, then you have to be responsible for it. If you didn't make an inquiry to your gardener as to what happened, they have reason to at least believe, based upon what they had previously observed and based upon the burn marks that are in their tarp, that it happened as a result of leaf blowing and the hot exhaust coming out of the back of these machines. They asked you, please find out what happened. You clearly responded to them, I'm not doing anything. If you refuse to give them the information, they have no recourse but to sue you. Now I want to get to this tree business, because that's really what I consider the gravamen of your countersuit, which is that they cut down a tree that was on your property. Well, let me hear about it.
They didn't cut it down, Your Honor. They cut the crown out of the tree. That's the center part of the tree that grows the highest. It's a specimen tree. It's full grown. It was given to me by my nephew shortly after I moved into the house. This nephew is a very precious person, was a very precious person to me. He was dying of cancer, and he said to me, Aunt Jeanette, every time you go look out your front door, you'll remember me. And so to me, it became a symbol of a tree of life.
Well, let me see what they did, Ms. Shapiro.
This, the pictures, Your Honor, were taken on the early part of March after I received the summons to appear. The damage was done in June or July of last year.
What, was the tree hanging over their property?
Some of the tree did hang over the property, but not that part of the tree.
We didn't trim anything that wasn't hanging over our property, Your Honor. Why would we trim the crown of her tree? That doesn't make any sense.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Karen and Brett Frawley claim their vehicle cover was ruined by neighbor Jeanette Shapiro's gardeners. Jeanette claims the Frawleys mutilated her tree.
Go ahead.
It was a full tree, and now it is in a V. It was even more drastically cut when it was first done. It's had
it's not
6 months.
Well, it grew back.
Yes, but the crown is gone. You can see
Well,
the
that
V
may be,
there.
but if the crown was hanging over their property...
It was not
Well, I
hanging.
can't tell that. I can't tell that.
I understand that.
And if they did that in July, why didn't you register a complaint in July?
Because I thought this was just more harassment. I don't communicate with these people.
Why not?
Because she shouts at me.
Just a minute. You said, listen, in July, this was the first thing that you told me that happened.
It goes further back. It goes maybe a year or two further back, when she called me to her driveway and said to me, I want to talk to you, Jeanette. I walked over there, and she says, tell your gardener not to blow any leaves on our lawn.
So that's not harassment, Mrs. Shapiro.
I said, if you want to talk to the gardener, please, you have my permission to talk to the gardener at any time.
They don't speak English.
I don't know that they do or not speak English.
Well, he said he tried to speak to them, and there was a language barrier. So I assume when he says a language barrier, it means that they don't speak English, because he speaks English. Very unfortunate. In any event, I have no proof that whatever they cut from your specimen tree was not hanging over their property. It's impossible to tell from these photographs. But since you refused to give them the information which would have allowed them to pursue your gardener, you have to be responsible for the damage yourself. You have the bill?
Yeah, it's in that letter. It was the original amount that we had asked her for, the $280.25.
Judgment for the plaintiff, $280.25. Thank you.
Excuse me one moment.
Yes, just a minute.
I'd like to show you a picture of my side of the fence. There are 3 signs that are posted on my side of the fence that say, keep out, no trespassing. That's on a front patio of mine. I would like to have those removed. That's right in direct line of my front door.
Well, maybe her gardeners know by now, and we could take it down.
Well, then let's talk about that, because these 2 signs, keep out, private, posted, are really unattractive. So why don't you take the signs down? It would be nice. She would like that.
Sure.
And I can understand that it faces her front door and it doesn't look nice. This looks like a nice neighborhood. Got it?
No problem.
I got it.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That tree was a very, very precious tree to me.
We tried to be cordial with the neighbor.
It means a great deal. It was actually a tree of life as far as I'm concerned.
You live and learn, I guess.
And now the next case.
All parties on Denon versus Avalos. Step forward, please.
40-year-old poet Cheryl Denon is suing her ex-boyfriend, 38-year-old steelworker Thomas Avilas, for the down payment on a car. Thomas says the vehicle was a gift in return for teaching her to drive.
Ms. Denon, according to your complaint, you met the defendant while you were online in a chat room. And at the time you were married, you began a relationship, I assume, on the computer with the defendant. Is that right?
Correct.
And then there came a time when that relationship developed. you ended up terminating your marriage, or your husband terminated your marriage, and while you were in this relationship with the defendant, after you and your husband separated, you claimed that you loaned the defendant $2,500 as a down payment for a new used car.
Correct. That's not true.
Shortly thereafter, you decided that he wasn't right for you, and you terminated the relationship with him. You and your husband are now back together. You want your $2,500 back.
Correct.
When did you first begin to have this chat room relationship with the defendant?
I would say about December of 1998.
Okay, when did you first meet him?
Possibly maybe 2 or 3 weeks later.
And when did you and your husband separate?
We separated in 1999.
When in 1999?
August.
At that time, did you begin a relationship with the defendant?
We had a relationship going on and off the whole time. Okay. And the reason for my husband leaving was because of that.
When did you give him this $2,500?
December of 2000.
When did you separate from him?
About 3 days before Christmas.
So within weeks of giving him the $2,500, is that right?
Correct.
And tell me about the conversations that took place prior to you giving him the $2,500.
Well, we discussed that we were, quote unquote, going to be a couple, and that he was going to teach me how to drive.
You didn't know how to drive?
No, I don't know how to drive. And he was going to help me regain some independence, which was good. And at first it was spoken that when I lent him the $2,500 that he was going to pay me back. She said it was a gift.
Shh. Don't.
He said that he was going to pay me back when he got his income tax. Then, like maybe a few days later, we talked about, hey, well, we're going to be together. What's yours is mine.
Who said that?
Both of us.
So you said that?
No, I didn't. Yes, you did, Tommy.
No. You said that. You said you both said it. So you said it. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is mine. Right?
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the way it works? I can't say it any other way. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours? That doesn't even sound right. Okay. Did you have any discussion with him about the $2,500 when you decided to terminate the relationship?
Yes, I did. He came over to my house maybe before New Year's, and he had Christmas decorations in my window, and I was not home. He took all the Christmas decorations out of my house that he had put into my house, which I would have returned them to him anyway. I did not want to keep them, okay?
Okay.
And I had come home, and he was there.
Well, did you ask him at that point about your $2,500?
Yes, I did. And he said to me, don't ask me about that if you want to be friends with me. And I thought that was very stupid because I was not going to be friends with him when there's other circumstances why I didn't want him that I found out later through the relationship.
Okay. Mr. Avalos.
Yes.
Let's talk about this car. Under what circumstances do you claim that she gave you this $2,500?
Your Honor, we had a deal. You know, we had a car accident. We had mentioned in my car.
What do you mean we had a car accident?
She was in the car with me in my van, and we had a car accident.
But you were driving?
I was driving.
So you had a car accident?
Okay, well, she was in the car with me.
She was in the car with you, but you had the accident?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Okay, so at that time, she made a suggestion, why don't you go buy a new car? And I said, where would I get the money for that? She said, well, look, let's make a deal. I will give you the $2,000 for a down payment, and you will teach me how to drive, and it'll be our car. I said, sure, that would be fine.
Okay.
Okay, so we go to the dealer, we pick this car out. I said, I really can't afford it. She says, look, I'll help you with the payments. I said, oh, you sure about this? She said, yeah. Now, she gave me $2,000. It wasn't $2,500.
I assume she's going to be able to show me that she took out or she wrote a check for $2,000.
No, she gave me cash. She gave the dealer cash.
I would assume you have the receipt for that. Does somebody have the receipt for what you gave to the dealer?
Sales slip has been returned.
To where?
To that dealer. When I took the car back, saying I can no longer afford this car.
How much was the entire purchase price of the car?
$5,000.
Is that right?
Correct.
So on Christmas Eve night, I had a call from her husband stating the fact that she's back with him now.
Okay, so they're back together.
And he would be around to pick up her things. So they came around the 26th, picked up things that she had at my house. Her husband had stated on the fact that he was going to come around and pick up the things, said, keep the car. We don't want it. If they were going to pick up half the car or come and get the car. They would have came and said something to me on the 26th.
Did you just say they're going to come and pick
Well,
up
you know what
half
I'm saying.
No, listen to me.
Okay.
Look, you're not receiving.
Yeah, sure.
Did you just say to me that if they were going to pick up half the car, they would have come and
I
picked
meant
up half
to
the
say,
car?
if they were going to say anything about the car, he would have came around on the 26th and said, we want the $2,000 back.
All right.
They
Mr.
never did
Avalos,
that.
listen to me. You just cooked your own goose. You said to me, your agreement with the plaintiff was this was going to be your car as a couple.
Right.
And she was going to, according to you, put down not only $2,000, but also help you with the car payments.
But they told me to keep the car. They said they didn't want it.
They
said
don't
didn't
want the car.
Right.
They don't want the car.
So I took the car back.
What do you mean you took the car back? You never gave it to them.
No, I took it back to the dealership.
Fine. And what did you buy?
A cheaper car that I could afford.
How much did you pay for the cheaper car?
$4,000.
And how much later? 3 weeks after you purchased it?
Yes, about 4 weeks afterwards. It was in
You never
January.
like to say you're right. All
It was
right.
in
So
January.
4 weeks after.
Yes, Your Honor.
You brought it back. How much did the dealer give you for the $5,000 car towards the $4,000 car?
$2,500.
All this you don't have any proof of. You have no paperwork, you have no nothing.
I have
You
the
know
owner's
you're coming-
card.
You know you're coming to court. You know, usually people bring paperwork when they come to court.
He kept the paperwork for the other car, so I don't have the
You
paperwork for
make
the new car.
copies. So if you have paperwork for the new car would have shown how much money he gave you for the old car.
True.
Good. Now you're getting better. So you used, according to you, $2,000 of her money to purchase this car that you are currently driving.
Yes.
And according to you, Mr. Avalos, this was supposed to be your car as a couple, right?
Yes, but on Christmas Eve, she devastated me. She said she no longer wanted to be the couple, that she wanted
Well, how
to
do you
take the
think her
car
husband
back.
felt?
Well, he's the one that told me, he said, keep the car.
I wasn't talking about the car. I was talking about his wife.
They were divorced.
Because of whom?
Not because of me.
Because of the two of you.
Not really.
That wasn't because of you.
No.
When you started to
They
have
had
this...
problems long before I came.
Well, that's what she told you when she was talking to you in the chat room, but they were still married, right?
True.
True. All right. You got to give her $2,000 back. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I got a call saying that she was no longer going to, continue the relationship.
Beware, men are very strange.
I thought that was a pretty thing to do on Christmas Eve.
For anybody out there that's on the internet, watch out for Bad Daddy 62 because he might do the same thing to you.
You could have killed him.
This driver didn't just lose control.
She said, I'm going to tell the police you assaulted me.
Which resulted in you being arrested.
She went out of control.
You accused him of robbery.
That's correct.
That was a lie.
She even framed his girlfriend.
They were going to arrest me and I would have to spend the night in jail.
Will the truth put this case in reverse?
He lunged at me, scratched my face.
It looks like a pimple on your forehead.
Judge Judy.
You were acting like a nut.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinman. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy. 36-year-old internet copywriter Stephen Bevilacqua is suing 38-year-old biologist Ann Bonnet for damages resulting from a false police report. Ann is countersuing, claiming Stephen assaulted her.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. Quiet in the courtroom.
Down, this is case number 142 in the matter of Bevilacqua versus Bonnet, and case number 143 in the matter of Kaiser versus Bonnet. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Perhaps we could finally put this unfortunate incident to rest. According to what I read, you were crossing the street.
Yes, ma'am.
And you allege that the defendant came into an intersection she shouldn't have been and hit you with her car.
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't severely injure you with her car. You jumped back. She hit you on your knee. Something. Where?
Right. Brushed me about here.
She brushed you. But you weren't hurt.
No, ma'am.
But you were angry. And then an interaction took place between the two of you that was most unfortunate on both of your parts, which resulted in you being arrested.
No, I was never arrested.
Taken into custody at some point, charged with an assault.
Charged, yes.
with an assault. All right.
Strong arm robbery.
Charged with something.
Okay.
And Those charges were eventually dropped by the district attorney's office, but am I correct in reading between the lines in your complaint, sir, that there is a restraining order preventing you from going near the defendant?
Well, it's not a restraining order.
What is it?
I'm supposed to stay away from her, which is...
Is it an order for you to stay away from her?
It's not an official restraining order, no.
It is not.
No.
I mean, it's not written anywhere.
No.
The judge just told you to stay away from her.
Oh, no, it's stay away. It's not... Okay. I'm supposed to stay away from her until January 25th of 2002.
Where is that written?
I have it, Your Honor.
May I see it, please?
Those are the trial transcripts, Your Honor.
I'm just looking at the order because he's not sure it was an order. So after this case is over, Mr. Bevilacqua, you are directed to attend 3 hours of anger management classes by the 15th of March of 2001 and stay away from the victim.
Yes.
That was the order, signed by a judge.
Right.
Right. I mean, did you think I was just a fake person here that they picked out of, you know, that they picked out of a supermarket? Didn't you think
No.
that I had any legal experience at all, sir?
Of course.
All right. So, Mr. Bevilacqua, what you want is all kinds of damages from the defendant because you were put through a court process, you were embarrassed, whatever. You want damages in the amount of $5,000. The defendant is cross-claiming. She says that you did, in fact, assault her, and she is counterclaiming for the exact same amount, $5,000. So we've reached a point where you were brushed by defendant's car. Pick it up from there, Mr. Bevilacqua.
Okay, I fell back, I yelled, yo. I looked up to see the driver of the car flash her middle finger at me and take off.
Okay.
Continued walking home, got up the street, and saw a car that looked just like the one that had just sideswiped me, frantically trying to get into this parking spot. And I just went up and said, excuse me, was that you who just turned on to 3rd off of Rose? And she said, yes. And then I said, well, you just sideswiped me with your car. And she said, what exact words?
Of course.
Super. She said, you, I don't care, I'm tired, I just came from the airport. And then I said, no, wrong answer. Okay, you ask me if I'm okay, you tell me that you're sorry, and then I go. And then she exploded.
What do you mean she exploded?
She screamed, don't you tell me what to do, you stupid... swung her fist at me.
Did she hit you?
Blocked it. Well,
And what did you do?
that was it. Walked, I said, told her she was crazy and she should watch it or she's going to kill somebody, and I walked away.
And then what happened?
I got about 10 feet away and boom, got it from behind. Turned around and it was her screaming. Screaming threats, screaming, obscenities, everything. And waving her sunglasses. There was a little scratch in her sunglasses that had fallen out of her hand.
How did they fall out of her hand?
Because they were in her hand when she hit me, along with her keys.
Did she ever ask you for your name? During that period of time, she was asking you for your name.
She may have, but you know what? She
Okay.
was crazy.
That's not what
okay,
I asked.
I'm sorry. Yes, she probably
Don't be a
did.
wise guy in here, sir.
I'm sorry,
There's only
ma'am.
one wise person in here.
Yes, ma'am.
That's Bird.
So I couldn't go home because she was following me. She followed, so I just was walking around. She followed me for almost an hour, screaming. And at one point, we were near my apartment, and I wanted her to go away. I turned and tried to reason with her. And I said, listen, your road rage or whatever drugs are on are making you completely insane. Please leave me alone. And she screamed no, that I had to give her $200 and some for her sunglasses. And I said, I didn't break your sunglasses. I'm not paying for them. And then she said, oh, yeah, well, I'm going to tell the police you assaulted me, and they'll make you pay. And then I came to the store at the corner of 5th and Rose. And my girlfriend, Tamara, comes walking out of the store because she had been there, like, buying something. And Tamara sees this going on, comes over and goes, oh, my God, are you okay? And she goes after Tamara. She starts screaming threats and obscenities at Tam, starting with, do you know? She's going to have Tamara thrown in jail, goes over behind the car, screaming, you're not going anywhere, you blah, 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 I'm going to track you down, blah. So she's blocking the exit. I went up to her from the side and said exactly, hey, lady, yo, I'm leaving. Got about 15 feet away, and then boom, got it again, turned to Tamara and screamed, go, get out of here, I'll deal with her, go. So I let her scream at me for another few minutes, and then take off. Cut through the alley, go to a friend's place.
Okay. Apparently, you got her license plate number.
That's correct.
And through that, you got his name.
That's correct.
Okay. Police contacted you. What out-of-pocket expenses did you have as a result of this incident, sir?
$12,500.
For what?
Legal fees.
You have a bill for that?
Oh, sure.
Okay. And I'd like to see that. Then I have a couple of pointed questions because I let you tell your story.
Here you go. Thanks.
I see the checks made payable directly to the lawyer. Mr. Bevilacqua,
Yes.
I read your complaint very carefully, and what I want to know first is, you saw her park her car, and you had a conversation with her, and clearly you could see that you weren't getting anywhere. Why didn't you, before this thing escalated, just go over to her car and take down her license plate number? Go over to a phone booth, take out your cell phone, call the police, and say, license plate number so-and-so just hit me and took off. I was a pedestrian. Wouldn't that have been the smart thing to do, sir?
Yes, it was, and I regret it now.
That would have been the smart thing to do.
May I explain?
No, that would have
Okay.
been the smart thing to do.
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
explanation would be stupid.
Okay.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Stephen Bevilacqua says he was falsely arrested for assault because Ann Bonnet lied to police. Stephen claims it all started when Ann nearly ran him over.
Now, why don't you tell me, you're going through the intersection and you were in the intersection at that point illegally?
I made a right-hand turn from a busy street onto a residential street. While I was going through the crosswalk, I saw a gentleman step off the far side of the crosswalk. I continued down the road and then heard this screaming and looked in my rearview mirror, and I saw a gentleman screaming at me and giving me the finger.
That was this gentleman?
Yes.
Now, I want to know, first, do you have any of the police reports?
I do.
I'd like to see them all, please.
It's the LAPD.
Where had you been coming from, Dr. Bonnet?
Coming from the airport.
Where had you been?
San Francisco.
For how long?
For 4 days, sir. Ma'am.
What were you doing there?
I was taking an exam.
How many days was the exam?
It was a 3-hour exam on Sunday, the day of the incident.
So it was a pretty stressful day.
It was.
Okay, continue.
So I went through the intersection and heard the screaming, looked behind,
Saw him. You didn't know you would hit him. Go
I
ahead.
had not hit him, Your Honor.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I believe that you probably brushed him. You didn't hurt him, but you didn't stop your car.
No,
now,
I didn't
keep
stop
going.
my car.
Keep going.
I also held up my right middle finger in the rearview mirror. I continued up and over a hill, another 1,000 feet, to my residence and parked on the right-hand side of the street. I was getting my stuff out of the car when a man came, who I did not recognize, came running up to me and said, "Did you just turn onto this street?" I said, "Yes." He started swearing at me at that point and said, "You are the so-and-so who almost hit me. Do you realize that?" And then you gave me the finger. And I said, "You gave me the finger first." At which point he became enraged, lunged at me with his right hand, scratched my right face, took my glasses, threw them on the ground, and they broke. The glasses are here, and I have photographs as well.
Well, I'd like to see the photographs, and could you please indicate in this police report where it indicates that you were injured? Take a look at these police reports and show me where it indicates you were
I have
injured.
a photo of the injury, ma'am.
I don't want to see the photo. Well, I'll look at the photos of the injury. I want to see in the police reports, because they're voluminous, where police always indicate what the marks are that they've seen, what was the complaint. I want to see where the police officers noted any injuries to you.
Here at the bottom it says she took pictures of the scratch to my face.
Let me see.
Last paragraph.
Now, I want to see where the officer wrote down on a report. You see, on the first page of this report, he writes down type of property taken, receipt, nature of the injury, none, according to the police officer. Nature of injury, none. Why?
I wanted to find out if you wanted to take notice. They took the picture.
Yeah, they noticed nothing. Neither do I. I noticed what looks like a pimple on your forehead.
I was lucky it was a small scratch.
I said I noticed what it looks like a pimple on your forehead. I'm very smart. I don't think his body came into contact with your forehead, madam. I believe that he might have knocked the sunglasses off of your face. Maybe he did that, and maybe the sunglasses were in your hand, as he says, and they fell to the ground, or he knocked them to the ground. I believe that that's possible, too. But I don't believe that he ever put his hands on you. And anybody who would believe that, looking at this picture of this pimple, is a fool. Go ahead. Keep going.
I picked up the sunglasses and I said, "You just broke my sunglasses. You can't do that." He said, "Yes, I can. This is road rage. I can do anything I want to you."
Fine. At that point, Dr. Bonnet, what would a smart, intelligent, educated person do?
I
would go home.
He knew where I lived, ma'am. He was at my house. I was afraid of him.
So you follow him in the street? That's what you did. You followed him in the street.
That's correct.
And after you followed him in the street, he says you were yelling obscenities at him. Subsequently to that, you accused him of a strong-armed robbery. That's what the police report says.
That's correct.
Well, that was a lie.
That
was a lie.
It's not a lie, Your Honor.
Sure it is. Just like it would be a lie if he said, "I'm filing a report, assault with a deadly weapon." Your car. Car's a deadly weapon. You were where you shouldn't have been. There was a four-way stop sign. He's a pedestrian. He had the right of way. Yes, there was a four-way stop sign. That's what it says right here. If he's out in the street, you have no business moving. So you touched him. That's assault with a deadly weapon. Would that have been overkill, Dr. Bonnet?
That would have been, since it didn't happen.
That would have been overkill if he reported that. Clearly, he wasn't injured. He got up, he walked, he wasn't injured. But he expected somebody to stop and say, "I'm sorry, forgive me, I didn't realize that I hit you. Are you okay?" Instead, you're stressed. According to the police reports, you've gotten 3 hours sleep for the last 5 days because you were studying for these exams. You come home to the airport, they lost your luggage. It was a long day. It was a miserable day. And you acted inappropriately, especially when you filed a complaint against not only him, stand up, but her.
Your Honor, I did not file a complaint.
Oh, yes, you did. When you report to the police a strong-armed robbery and that she's driving the car because you wanted to be able to get his name, and the police go to her house and intimidate her and walk in with handcuffs and tell her that there's complaint of a strong-armed robbery and she's driving the getaway car all over your lousy pair of sunglasses?
The robbery was not the sunglasses, Your Honor. He took a piece of paper from me. That was what the police...
Because you were acting like a nut!
I was not.
You were acting like a nut! Maybe you were stressed, maybe you were tired, but you were acting like a nut. Any smart woman, if they're faced with somebody who is acting inappropriately, and you think he's acting inappropriately, I don't necessarily think so. You could have killed him in your state of stress, and you just kept going. And aside from that, you flipped him off. I would have been infuriated too, but you're a woman, and slightly more vulnerable. So if he comes up to you, and if he's furious, and he knocks your sunglasses to the ground, you take your sunglasses and you say, "Forget it." How many blocks did you follow him?
He followed...
How many blocks did you follow him?
2. May I tell the rest of my story?
Sure. Because then you're trying to get her license plate. You have a piece of paper in your hand. I read the reports, right? He comes up to you and grabs the piece of paper out of your hand. Is that right?
That's
so far, right? I wouldn't want a nut like you to know where my girlfriend lived either. You were acting like a nut. And then you report that as a strong-arm robbery with her driving the getaway car?
The police decided that that was a strong-arm robbery, the keeping of the paper, which he later returned to the police. He had it in his possession.
I find that you're responsible for his legal fees. And the most I can give him is $5,000, which is exactly what I'm giving him, and I am dismissing your counterclaim. You acted inappropriately on that day, and you should have apologized from the very beginning. Case over. Your counterclaim is dismissed, and I'm awarding him $5,000. Now, you sit down.
Thank you.
I want you to describe to me, Miss Kaiser.
Yes.
I want you to describe to me, after this whole incident is over, you go home. Your boyfriend tells you take off. The nut is following you, right? She's got your license plate number. How would you receive this first alert from the police?
3 policemen showed up on my door, banged on it, and let me know that if I didn't open the door immediately, that they were going to come in.
What did they say?
They came in and actually started asking me questions about my car. I didn't really know what they were getting at, and they considered me to be evasive, and started telling me that if I didn't tell them what they wanted to know, they were going to arrest me on the spot. And since it was a Sunday, I wouldn't be able to contact a lawyer, I wouldn't be able to be bailed out or arraigned, and I would have to spend the night in jail.
What do they want to know? They want to know his name.
They wanted to know who was driving my car. They basically were backing into asking me his name, and I honestly didn't know what they wanted at the beginning. When they did, I told them actually fairly early in the conversation, but once it started getting this detailed, that I would much prefer to speak to them after I spoke to an attorney. And once again, we were back to, "You're going into prison now, put your hands out, we've got cuffs."
So how long did they stay in your house?
About 2.5 hours. They kept me in my house. After the hour of questioning, I had to wait an hour and a half until she came down, looked at my car, identified it, and left.
So the next day it was over?
Actually, it was over in terms of my experiences with the police, and that was frightening, but it was not over in that both the police that we talked to and the Santa Monica City Attorney's Office were still considering pressing charges against me.
As being a co-conspirator in a strong-armed robbery?
The driver of the getaway car in a strong-arm robbery.
You see how ridiculous things got?
I never accused her of anything, Your Honor.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the case of Kaiser v. Bonnet in the amount of $2,500.
Fair enough.
Step up. Yes. A couple of things to say. Could you have behaved better that day?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Certainly did nothing criminal that day. I find that based upon what little I've heard and from looking at these photographs and listening to the story, you did nothing criminal that day. Certainly nothing that would have required you to spend $12,500 for a lawyer. I find, however, that despite the fact that he could have behaved differently that day, I'm merely taking down your license plate, you were the precipitating factor in all of this trouble because stressed out as you may be, you didn't have the right of way, you brushed him with your car, he doesn't look like a nut to me that he would follow you if you hadn't even tapped him with your car. See, all he was looking for was an apology. But you kept going and were rude besides. You precipitated it. You pay. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
The fact that they sued me while there's a stay-away order from the male plaintiff, I consider harassment.
The story she told the police was insane. It caused a lot of trouble and a lot of debts for me, and now I can start paying them off, and I'm very grateful.
I know that I did not hit him, ever.
Basically, I was a witness to this at best. I didn't even witness the whole incident, and I was treated like a suspect.
I was just trying to protect myself.
If she'd apologized, I would have gone home.
Was it a joyride?
How did they start the car?
I guess they jimmied it.
I didn't steal it, Your Honor.
Or was this young girl taken hostage?
He got into the passenger seat. He said, go fast, just drive.
You're lucky you weren't killed.
Who's at fault, the driver or the mystery passenger?
He took both of his hands and pressed my knee down.
Is that the story you gave your mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
You think your mother believed you? I don't.
Judge Judy.
Not for a minute.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinman. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy. 18-year-old bank teller Shondell Fox is suing her former neighbors, 15-year-old Mary Rita, and her mother, 42-year-old hotel supervisor Rhonda Turner. Shondell says Mary stole her car and totaled it.
Order. All rise.
Your Honor, this is case number 592 on the calendar in the matter of Fox versus Rita Ann Turner. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Ladies, have seats, please.
Miss Fox, your car was stolen.
Correct.
When was it stolen?
It was stolen October 6, 2001.
And from where was it taken?
From our apartment complex.
What kind of car was it?
It was a 1990 Toyota Camry.
And somehow you came into possession of that car, you're going to tell me how, and totaled it, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you want the defendant and her mother to be responsible for the damage?
Correct.
What time of the day did you find the car missing?
The car was missing at approximately 8:20 p.m.
Okay. Now, when did you see the car, Miss Rita?
October the 8th.
Tell me where.
They drove up to meet me.
Who's they?
Marcus and...
Marcus who?
Your Honor.
And who else?
Fallon and Renee, Your Honor.
So there were 3 people in the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you said they drove up where?
I was sitting on the curb with my next-door neighbor, Laura, and Michelle, watching the kids play roller hockey. They just drove up on the side, just on the middle of the street.
Yes, go ahead.
And Marcus had asked me to get into the car, and I asked him, whose car is it? And he said it's his friend's car. So I hesitated, but I got in.
You got into the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
You ever seen that car before?
I saw him driving it before, like a day before.
Okay. Miss Rita, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to understand something. I have this crystal ball that lives with me all the time, so I know everything. So I want you to forget whatever story you told your mother. I want you to forget whatever story you told the police. Because back here, I have this little crystal ball, and I'm going to ask you all kinds of good questions, okay? You saw him driving the car the day before. Where?
Around the apartments.
And was he driving the car erratically? You know what that word means?
Oh, Your Honor.
Was he driving it crazy?
Oh, yes, Your Honor. Well, not really. He was just driving fast.
Yeah?
Just around the apartments. We saw him drive by a couple times.
How fast was he driving?
I'm not quite sure.
Was he driving fast enough for you to say, boy, you shouldn't be driving so fast around the apartment complex?
No, Your Honor.
Well, when you say he was driving fast, what does that mean? Like this. What does that mean?
Like, he was just, like, driving, like, by, like, just, like, zoom, and then, like, turning around. Well, the people next to me were like, don't drive so fast. The people that were by Laura.
So he wasn't driving correctly?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that was the day before?
Uh-huh, or the night before.
So why would you get into a car with somebody who you knew was driving crazy?
I was pressured, Your Honor.
How were you pressured, Miss Rita?
Well, he was just like, come on, get into the car and all this stuff. I don't...
Ah. So now you get into the back seat of the car. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
How'd you get into the front seat of the car?
We had went out of the apartments.
Try looking at me when you're talking.
Yes, Your Honor. We had exited out of the apartments and went on the street called Tom and turned, and we were like down this really long street, and he told Fallon to get into the back seat. So Fallon had gotten to the back seat, and he had stopped the vehicle, but he had gotten to the passenger seat, and he told us, like, get into the driver's seat, Mary, and drive.
Just a second. It went that very fast. You're in the back. Marcus moves over to the passenger seat. Is that right?
No, he had stopped the vehicle, Your Honor.
Well, I
on
understand
the side.
that. He stopped the vehicle before he moved into the passenger seat, and then he said to you, you get in the front and drive?
Yeah, he said, Mary, get into the front and drive. And I was like, I don't know how to drive. I've never drove before, you know. And then he was just like, come on, do it. Just get in there. And so I got into the driver's seat, and he told me to hold down the brake, and he put the car in drive, and it started moving a little bit. And my one foot was on the gas and one foot was on the brake, but I wasn't pushing any of the pedals, but the brake. And some people were standing right there, and they were pointing over at us and talking. And he had asked me he said, go real fast, just drive. And I said, I'm not going to drive. And so he had took both of his hands and pressed my knee down.
That's what you wrote here. Is that the story you gave your mother? Is that the story you gave your mother?
Yes, Your Honor.
You think your mother believed you?
I suppose so, Your Honor.
I don't. Not for a minute. Not for a minute. Now, do you go to school?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you pass your subjects?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does she pass her subjects?
She's failing a couple of them.
Well, then she's not passing them. You have to tell the truth. I'm going to bring you back to something I said before. I want you to think about this. I know everything about you. Everything. Now I'm going to ask you the same question. Are you passing all your subjects?
No, Your Honor.
Which subjects are you failing?
Band and algebra.
What subjects do you do well in?
English.
Any?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, which ones?
English, and I do well in PE and health.
In health? How old are you?
15, Your Honor.
When you got into the car and got into the driver's seat, was there a key in the ignition?
Yes, Your Honor, there was.
There was. Did you have to turn the key?
No, Your Honor.
Because it was already on.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, after you started to go very fast down this straightaway, tell me what happened.
Okay, I turned left because I thought I could just pass down the street, and then a truck...
No. Explain that to me very slowly. What do you mean you thought you could just pass down the street?
Well, I mean, like, just turn so preventing from hitting that wall. There's, like, a wall right here, and there's a pole, like, right next to it. But a truck was coming down the other street, because there's a street right here, and I thought it was going to hit the truck, so I turned it this way, and it had flew up on a curb and hit the pole.
And then what happened?
Marcus said, run, so we all got out of the car and we took off running.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Shondell Fox says former neighbor 15-year-old Mary Rita stole her car and wrecked it. Mary says she was coerced by a neighborhood thug named Marcus.
Okay. Miss Rita, when were you arrested?
About 10 minutes after the car had crashed.
How do you think you were identified as the driver?
They had all found us. They all got us.
How did they get you?
Because they were driving up the street and they told us to stop and put our hands on the hood.
So that the police were coming from the other direction?
Yeah, there's like a street right next to the street.
Okay, and you're running, you and your 3 friends. Is that right?
No. Marcus took off the other way. He got away.
He did? Did they ever arrest Marcus?
No, Your Honor.
Really? Is that right?
Correct.
And where does Marcus live?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Try think very, very hard. Where does he live?
I don't know, Your Honor.
Approximately where does he live?
I suppose the house is next to the apartments. That's where he always walks. I don't know. Used to when I knew him.
What do you mean, you used to when you knew him?
I don't see him anymore after the accident or anything.
Well, didn't you call him or have your mother call him after this incident happened and say, listen, you really had possession of this car. Why don't you come forward?
We didn't know his full name. I didn't know. She said she didn't know.
Well, now she says she knows.
I made her go to the library at the school and look at the last name in the yearbook.
What school did he go to?
Cheyenne High School, Your Honor.
Did you ultimately give that information to the police?
My husband did.
Good. Okay. Now, can I see the estimates for the damage to your car? See how easy that was, Miss Fox?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, I want you to tell me, Miss Rita, why you think you are not responsible for all the damage to the plaintiff's car.
Because I didn't steal it, Your Honor.
So what? You drove it recklessly.
Yes.
You drove it recklessly, and you want me to tell you, Miss Rita, you told your mother that the reason you had the accident was because Marcus took his hands and pushed it against your knee, forcing you to press onto the gas, which caused the accident. Is that right? That's what you told your mother. That's what you just told me.
Yes, Your Honor.
2 minutes later, you told me that you were making a left turn in order to avoid a truck and a pole and a brick wall. You were making a left turn. You didn't say anything about Marcus holding his hands on your leg while you were trying to... Do I need you?
Sorry.
You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, if you want to go to the effort of having your parents find out where Marcus lives and suing him for his portion, if there is a portion, of the damage, if some judge believes that he was partially responsible for this, you're free to do that. Miss Fox doesn't have to chase down Marcus. You're the one who wrecked her car. What kind of punishment did you receive as a result of this?
I got 247 hours community service and a $350 state fee fine.
What kind of community service are you supposed to do?
I work at municipal pools, cleaning.
Have you started that yet?
Yes, Your Honor.
How many hours?
I've done 123, I believe.
Can I see your photographs of the accident, please? You're lucky you weren't killed. Where did you leave your keys, Miss Fox?
My mother had the set of keys.
Were there keys in the car?
No.
How did they start the car?
I guess they jimmied it, or with one of the tools that were left in the car.
So there was no key in the car?
No.
That's what I thought. All right, so the value of the car is $3,700. How much did you get from insurance?
From insurance, we got $1,407.
So your actual losses were $2,293, is that right?
Correct.
Expensive mistake. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,293. That's all. Thank you.
All is excused. You may step out.
He stole the car, and they should have went after him for it.
Sometimes it's not who you're with, it's what you do when you're with certain people.
I wanted her to learn a lesson by community service hours.
I think that community service will not teach her a lesson.
Community service sometimes is not enough.
You do the best you can on raising your children. You try to teach them right.
Obviously, you should know not to get in a car if you don't have a driver's license and drive it.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Smith versus Wedhoff. Step forward, please.
45-year-old homemaker Bernadette Smith is suing 53-year-old teacher Joanne Wedhoff for running her down in her car. Bernadette says she and Joanne have a history of bad blood.
Miss Smith, according to your complaint and Miss Wedhoff's answer, the two of you have a past history that goes back to the time when your child was in kindergarten. Yes. And there was some very bad feeling that arose between the two of you. You didn't like the way she was teaching your child, and there were complaints filed against her. To make a long story short, you haven't liked each other for a long time. Is that right?
Yes.
You claim that the defendant purposely hit you with her car while you were riding your bike.
She tried to run me down.
Oh. She tried to run you
Yes.
down. Okay. Go ahead. Let me hear.
Well, I was riding my bike, which I do all the time, and I'm riding east on Matthews, a block over from where I live, and I'm looking behind me as I'm riding, which I always do.
Okay.
All of a sudden, I see this car coming. I hear this car coming, and first it was coming slow, then it speeded up. It was a van right in front of me, so I tried to get in front of the van, but before I could,
What do you mean that there was a van right in front of you?
There was a van parked in front of me as I was heading to the corner.
Okay.
There was parked. It was parked.
Okay, so there's a van parked in the lane where you were riding.
Yes.
And a car was behind you.
Coming, yes.
And you said speeding up.
Yes.
And so you were trying to get around this van before the car that was behind you.
Yes.
Why didn't you wait until the car passed you if it was speeding up?
It wasn't speeding at first.
Well, you told me
that
it
was a ways. I was just a few feet from the van, and I just to go around it, you know, to get to the corner. I had no idea this car was going to speed up.
Go ahead.
And when she saw me, she speeded up and tried to hit me. So I fell off my bike onto the van, which broke my fall. And when I looked up and realized who it was, I realized it was her.
So?
And she kept going. She didn't stop to see if I was okay or anything because she can't say, now I know she knew who I was, or she would have stopped. So I think she deliberately tried to run me down. No, she didn't. She would have hit the van if she would have hit me. I don't think she wanted to hit the van. She wanted to hit me.
Okay. What kind of work do you do for a living?
I'm a teacher.
How long have you been a teacher?
15 years.
Okay, you were on your way according to your answer to school?
Right.
Back to
I run
school?
an errand, yes.
Okay. Do you remember seeing the plaintiff?
Yes. I was driving down the middle of down the street. It's a one-way street, and there was a bicycle in front of me in the middle of the street. As I approached the bicycle, there was a woman on the bicycle. She moved over to the left, and as I got right abreast of the bicycle, I realized it was Bernadette Smith. And I just started driving, and she screamed at me, and she kind of wobbled a little, and I just kept driving straight, and I got to the stop sign, and I looked in my rearview mirror, and I didn't see her on the floor, ground, anything. She's still on the bike. So I turned left and went right to my school, which is a block and a half away, and immediately went in to the principal to tell her what happened. Because there was a restraining order against Miss Smith, there's been a lot of trouble, and the principal...
In your favor?
In my favor.
In your favor?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The principal moved my parking space so my car would be in clear view of the office at all times.
See, now she claimed she didn't even know who I was. This is what she put in her police report, that she didn't even know who she saw a person. Then now she's saying she knew it was me. Yeah, you knew it was me after you tried to hit me.
Ms. Smith, she said she saw a woman riding a bike in front of her. She didn't realize it was you until
Yes, she did know it was me.
Well,
She
how
had
do I
seen
know
me
that?
before. She seen me before riding my bike in the neighborhood because I ran into her one day specifically when she was walking her class up the street on foot.
Can
And
I ask you- can I
I seen
ask you a
her, but she
question?
knew, so she knew it was me.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know whether she knew it was you or not. She'd have to be some nut to try to run you down. That would be ridiculous. Why is there a restraining order against you in favor
Well, at
of
the time,
defendant?
they said I was a troublemaker because I was trying to find out why she was letting so many things go on that was concerning my daughter in her class and never did anything about it.
How long ago was your daughter?
My daughter is now 17 years old.
Your daughter is 17, so
Yes.
she hasn't been in the defendant's class for how
Yes.
many years?
She was in her kindergarten class, so it's been a while.
A while? How about 11 years?
Yes.
What I want to know is if there's a restraining order now.
No, there is not a restraining order now.
Oh, there
She's
is not.
talking about a restraining order back then when she lied to get a
Just a
restraining
second.
order.
So that there is no restraining order in effect now?
No, not that I
for the
know
last
of.
10 years?
No, exactly.
No, it was in 96 it ended.
In 96? May I see it, please?
Oops, sorry.
96.
Everything in there she lied about.
Just a minute.
All lied about, so they wouldn't have to deal with the problems. Because I have the restraining order here too, if you want to see it. This is the last one that I know of, and everything in here is a lie.
Okay. Now, was the defendant granted a restraining order against you?
Yes.
And that was well after the time that your daughter left the school.
I was still trying to handle the problems that was going on. My daughter went to school up until she was in the 6th grade there, so I still had to look at her and see her every day. She still caused problems for my daughter and I every day. I had to take my daughter out of the school district, period, because of the problems that they caused. she would make my daughter feel like an outcast in class.
Miss Smith,
And
Miss Smith, you're talking about 11 or 12 years ago. I'm not interested. All I'm interested in, as recently as 6 years ago, the courts granted her a restraining order against you. So there has to come a time when you get over whatever sense that you had that your daughter wasn't treated fairly by the defendant, who was her kindergarten teacher. So you have to get over it. I find that there is absolutely no evidence that she attempted to
I have gotten over that.
By the way, before I rule on this case, let me look quickly. Let me see your hospital records.
I didn't go to the hospital, and I never told anybody that I went to the hospital.
Just answer my question, madam. So you have no hospital records?
No, I don't.
Can I see your doctor's report?
I don't have a doctor's report because I didn't get hurt. I fell. The van broke my fall.
Oh, good. So you weren't hurt?
Yeah, but she
so what are
tried
you
to
doing
run
here?
me down.
She did not. Goodbye. Case dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, I hope this puts an end to a long grudge that this woman has had against me.
I don't have anything to say.
She started threatening me that she was going to get me. She was going to do this and that to me.
I have nothing to say.
I'm glad it's over.
It's over.
I hope it's over forever.
She said that I'm a violent drug dealer.
A false accusation
I'm no drug dealer.
incites a neighborhood war.
And he picks up this metal chair like this, and he called me a white Ku Klux Klan Nazi.
My intention was to bust her in the head with it.
Right when he did that, I maced him.
But when it comes to justice,
This neighborhood is known as the ghetto.
Well, if you have a problem with black folks, why are you still living in the neighborhood?
Judge Judy is colorblind.
You're just looking for trouble, and you found it.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheinman. The people are real. The cases are real. The rulings are final. This is her courtroom. This is Judge Judy. Landscaper Ralph Butler is suing his former neighbor, 27-year-old homemaker Karina Yandel, for harassment and slander. Karina is countersuing for an assault, harassment, and vandalism.
Order. Come to order. All rise.
Now, this is case number 345 on the calendar in the matter of Butler versus Yandel. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated. Folks, have seats.
Mr. Butler, you and your family and the defendant and her family used to be neighbors.
Yes, ma'am.
While you were neighbors, it is your claim that the defendant harassed and defamed both your family and your son.
And assault.
And assault. And you want to be compensated. The defendant says that after a series of drive-by shootings, she contacted the police. And after she contacted the police, you harassed her, assaulted her, and caused some damage to her property. How long had you been neighbors?
Possibly 4 years. I've been living in my residence for 4 years now.
How long were you living in the
I
neighborhood?
moved in there January of 1999, and he moved in there probably a year following.
A year after. You were there first.
Yes, ma'am.
So you weren't there for 4 years.
Possibly 4 years. July of 99.
July of 99 is now 4 years. She was there first.
Yes.
Okay. How many people in your family?
Family of 5.
You?
My wife and 3 kids.
How old are your children?
Son is 15. I have another daughter that's 13. Greenwich is 12.
Okay. Before this incident, had you had any difficulty with each other?
No.
Gotten along okay?
Well, we just never was around each other to get along or not get along. I just, I knew the type of person people they were, so I just kind of stayed my distance.
I'd like to speak on that. Basically, I would walk up and down the street to get my daughter from the bus stop from school, and he would always be outside with a bunch of people. This was a daily thing. He used to say hi to me. I used to say hi to him, too. As for him saying the type of person I was...
I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
You said hi, so there were no problems.
No.
No problem, ma'am.
What happened in September of 2001? Because I assume that that's what precipitated this problem.
On September 20th at about 2 o'clock...
in the afternoon?
Yes. Ralph came to my door, knocking at the door, says, I want to talk to Rod, which is my fiance. And then I said, okay, and then I went and got him. He came to the door. He goes, I want to talk to you, not your wife. He was like really, really like, I could tell something was wrong. And so he stepped to the door, and then he went outside and he closed the door behind him. So I was inside, and I was listening from the inside, and I could hear him yelling and getting really loud and rude with Rod, saying that your wife turned my stepson into the police, saying he's selling drugs out of my house. And then when he said that, then I opened the door and I told him, you know, Ralph, you need to get your story straight before you come down here threatening me. I said, none of that is true.
There had been a problem in the neighborhood with some shootings?
Yes. What happened with that was right across the street from his house, there was a lot of drug members hanging out selling drugs, and there was a lot of drive-bys that started occurring, and this was about 8 months ago.
Well, that had nothing to do with him. This was across the street
Yeah.
from his house.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what happened was right, like side to side, on the same sidewalk area, my son was at the park in the sandbox. The first drive-by was about like 12 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday. And my son was out there when this happened. And my daughter comes running inside the house telling me, Mommy, they're shooting out there. And then I came out there, and then my son was laying down in the sand because he was scared, you know. He didn't want to get shot. And so then after that, there was about 3 or 4 more shootings within like a 2 weeks time period. There was 3 within 3 days. So every time that the police would come to check out the area, all these guys would run into the back of the carports, which lead into the back doors of the townhouses across the street from his house. So what I did was, my fiance and I, we walked down to speak to the officers. And we asked them if we could speak to them privately so we could kind of give them a feel out of who these people were to try and get this stuff resolved. So what happened from there was, when he came to my door that day on September 20th, he says, I'm not a punk B. You're not going to get away with this, you snitch. And he goes, the only reason you're saying anything to me right now is because Rod, which is my fiance, and my best friend Jeff, we were all there together. And he goes, that's why you're only saying anything. He goes, but you wait until you go walking down the street to get your daughter, you're going to get yours. And then he goes, snitches don't live long. And he takes off down the street really mad. Then he comes back about 5 minutes later with another guy that is a known drug dealer over there. He comes back up and he goes, you mother effers, snitches get stitches and they don't live long. And then the police showed up. And then they took my police report, which I have right here, and I stated everything that he said to me when he came to my door, that he threatened me.
I'd like to see them, please, Bird. What made you believe, sir, that the defendant had accused your son of doing anything?
Yeah, because, Judge, she was stopping the little kids in the neighborhood, asking the kids what was going on down under the tree down in there. She was spreading rumors to the little kids, harassing the kids, saying that me and my son was selling drugs.
Ma'am, that's not true.
No, no, no. I don't think that that's true, sir.
Well, that's true.
No, I don't think that that's true. She may have been inquiring about what was going on
And she's
there.
up here babbling about drive-bys and whatever. I wasn't in none of those cars. I'm no drug dealer. You know, I haven't shot at nobody.
She
I haven't
never
ran in nobody's house.
accused you, from what she says, and I believe her. She never accused you of doing anything. She said that the drugs were being sold from a location across the street from your house.
Well, Judge, it says right there in her claim, it says that I'm a violent drug dealer, and I threatened her life. That wasn't said.
If you'd like me to speak on that, I would love to.
Sure.
Okay, the fact of him selling drugs, I have a lady friend that walks through the neighborhood going down the street to the local store.
Did she buy some drugs from me?
Excuse me.
Did she buy drugs from me?
Mr. Butler, Mr. Butler, don't speak yet. You'll get a chance.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyways, the lady's husband would always come by, and he was like a real skinny drug addict. He would walk by to his house, come in, be there for like maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes, and then split, be gone. And this man was continually going there, getting whatever he had to do.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ralph Butler says his former neighbor, Karina Yandel, has accused him of being a drug dealer and on a separate occasion assaulted him with pepper spray. Karina denies making false accusations and claims the pepper spray was in self-defense.
Let's go back a moment. So he's outside talking to your fiancé, Rob. You hear him make these comments about snitches get stitches.
Yes.
You call the police and make a report. What happened after the police report?
The next day, my friend, which is my witness, Vicky Burciaga, she came over, and we were going to go walking down the street around the corner.
By my house.
Yes, by his house. I walked on the other side of the street, but before I did that, I told her the situation, and I told her that he threatened, you know, really violent threats. So what I did was I had her carry some pepper spray, and I carried pepper spray. And I'm not going to lie about it. I had her carry a bat, which was out of sight, in case he approached me, which, in good thing, I did that. So we went to lunch. We went around the corner, had some Chinese food. He wasn't outside when I walked by the first time, on the other side of the street. So then when I come back by, he's sitting outside on his ice chest.
Now, when you walked back from lunch, were you walking back from lunch on the other side of the street?
Other side of the street, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
No, that's a lie.
Mom,
That's a lie.
I mean,
Just a minute. We're going to come
Judge
back
Judy.
in a second. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, I was on the other side of the street, and before I even got anywhere in front of his house. He seen me coming, and he started going off, just cussing and calling me all kinds of names. You better not come near me, I'll kill you, and just really like trying to be verbal. There was a teenage boy standing next to him. He says to the kid, go get Pam, which is about 2 or 3 houses from his house. Well, Pam steps outside, and she says, why are you threatening us with mace and a bat and asking all the little kids around here who's selling drugs? And I said, you know what, Pam? I said, Pam, that isn't true. And I said, what happened was Ralph came down and threatened to kill me yesterday. And right at that time, Ralph picked up this wooden table I have a picture of, and he picked it up above his head like this, and he called me a white Ku Klux Klan, Nazi FMB. And he went like this to throw it at me. And right when he did that, I maced him as much as I could. And I turned around and started running.
So you maced him?
So I maced him, and when he threw that table, the table hit me lightly right here as I was turning to run. And then I started running, and I looked back, and he was coming, and he picks up this metal chair right here. He picks up this metal chair to throw at me, and I remember screaming, no, Ralph, and I kept running, and I fell down. And then I got back up, and I also had my dog on a leash with me.
That's how she got your scars, Your Honor.
Just a minute. You took your dog in to eat Chinese food?
No, he stayed outside. There's a tree like in the parking lot, and I had him on his leash, and he was tied to the tree.
You left the dog tied on a tree while you went in and had lunch?
Yeah. Well, if you'd seen the area, you'd understand.
She premeditated. It's premeditated, Your Honor. She had, in fact, wanted to come down there and pepper spray me at that time.
Mr. Butler, I'm going to come back to you. I guarantee you.
Your Honor.
I'm just asking some questions. Mr. Butler.
Yes. I'll be good. I'm cool.
Your Honor, to tell you the truth, this neighborhood is known as the ghetto. To tell you the truth.
I don't care what it's known as.
So that's why I
you
took my
left your
dog
dog tied to a tree while you went inside and had lunch.
Because he goes everywhere with me. It was, and plus the fact that, you know, in case anything happened
All right,
to me,
so
you know,
you
some
walked
sort of
down
security.
the street, you had your dog in your arms, he picked up something, he yelled, Ralph, don't do that,
Yeah.
whatever.
And then I made it to my house, and I called 911, and the police arrived about 30 minutes later.
So that's the assault you're talking about in your counterclaim?
Yeah.
Now, the assault you're talking about in your claim, just pay attention, you're not listening, Mr. Butler. The assault you're talking about is being maced.
Yes.
Do either of you have any medical bills as a result of these 2 assaults?
No. It was just washing my eyes out at the hospital, going through all the drama, you know, just basically trying to hold my head up after letting this lady do something like that to me, you know.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you to tell me, Mr. Butler, she's coming down the street with her friend.
Yes.
And when you first saw her, on which side of the street was she? Your side of the street or the other side?
She walked right by my house, just like it was a thing to do.
In front of your house?
In front of my house, it wasn't even 5 feet, you know, it was just right there.
Okay, and you're sitting outside?
Yes. Well, at that point, Karina...
She's walking by?
Walked by, she went to the store. She must have stayed at the store about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. She came back by, and at that time, I was sitting on the porch. She crossed the street and walked right in front of me. And I can't say what she told me, but she gave me an unpleasant gesture and told me I was lying. That's what she called me. That's her favorite word when she get mad.
That's not true.
So she walks over next door and knocked on the door. So she's trying to clarify and make them think that, oh, I'm lying about her calling all us. But as soon as, well, that's what she said.
Right now, you're on your porch.
Yeah.
And she's not on your porch.
She's not on my porch.
When did you come off your porch?
When she started pointing at me, cussing me out, I came off my porch and walked over across.
Where did you walk across to?
Right next door to my house. And
so you walked up to her?
No, I didn't walk up to her. The lady, my neighbor, was standing right here. She maybe be standing on this side over here. I was talking to Pam, and Steve arguing back and forth. And next thing I know, this lady said, you know what, and shh, and started spraying me. And yes, I did pick up a table, quite a big table. And my intention was to bust her in the head with it. But I couldn't see. I was blinded by the pepper spray. I could not see. If I could have seen, I would have continued that. You know, that's self-defense in my book. When you leave your house with a baseball bat, a dog, and some pepper spray, that's premeditated. I didn't do anything to this lady to make her want to do that.
Considering that the day before you had had somewhat of a confrontation with the plaintiff, why did you choose to arm yourself with a bat and 2 things of pepper spray and walk right by his house, not once, but twice?
Premeditated.
Hey! Do I look like I need your help?
No.
Explain that to me.
Okay, ma'am. The simple fact why I did was because my daughter, she always comes right at the end of our street right here to the bus stop. The fact
you weren't going to pick up your daughter, you were going to eat Chinese food.
I know that. But if I wasn't going to eat the Chinese food, I would have been walking down there to pick up my daughter from the bus stop anyways.
Listen, one thing is necessary
to go and pick up your child. And one thing is choice.
Yeah, I made the choice. Maybe I made the wrong choice, but...
You sure did. And you anticipated trouble. First of all, Mr. Butler, you were wrong to go down to her house and have this confrontation with either her or her fiancé or her husband or whoever it was, because I don't think you had all your facts straight.
Yeah.
Now, from what I gather, she was trying to find out so that she could tell the police who was selling drugs on her block so that she would be safe from these shootings that were happening. Because that's why...
I would like to be safe, too.
Just a minute. And my sense is she was asking around children in the neighborhood, what do you know about drugs being sold and from where? You told me that. She was asking, which, you know, is kind of gutsy. Most people, when they're faced with that kind of situation, they don't ask any questions. They say, I better stay in my house and like, keep my doors locked. But you got annoyed that she was poking her nose around, which was the wrong thing to do on your part. She wasn't
But
doing
I didn't break
anything.
any laws. She did when she pepper sprayed me.
Just a second. That's not true, sir. If you went up to her house and said, snitches get stitches, that is breaking the law.
That's not what I said, Your Honor.
I would like you to tell me, Mr. Butler, and think very carefully, sir. What did you say to her fiancé when you came to the house that afternoon in September?
I was attempting to talk to him like man to man.
No, don't attempt it. What did you say to him?
I asked him why is his wife going around spreading rumors like that about what we're doing down there in my house. She just said that we were selling drugs. I asked him why she's going around spreading those rumors.
Who had told you that she said you were selling drugs out of your
The
house?
kids in the neighborhood. She was stopping them, asking them was I selling drugs down at my residence.
So she was asking them. She wasn't telling them. Okay, so you asked them, and then what happened?
And me and him didn't get a chance to finish the conversation because it took both her husband and her friend or whatever to hold her. She was going to attack me, calling me. She said she's tired of living around all you drug dealing, and she wished we all just move. I said, well, if you have a problem with black folks, why are you still living in the neighborhood? You know, I said, somebody holding you? And I left. I turned around and walked off. I was this, that, and he couldn't do nothing with her. He trying to hold her to keep her in the house. She was physically trying to attack me.
That's not true.
You know?
Okay, let me stop. I think that you made a mistake, Mr. Butler, when you went down to the house and tried to confront people without getting all the facts. If you believe that the defendant is a hothead, I certainly would have made other arrangements to speak to the fiancé. But
that's what
I think that she certainly has the right, living on that block, to go around and ask a lot of questions to find out who's selling drugs in that neighborhood, which is causing an element to come onto that block, which is endangering everybody, including children. That's not accusing you. That's asking a question. If you don't like the question, that's too bad. But she has absolutely no right to arm herself and her friend with mace and a baseball bat. And the day after this confrontation, go walk down your block. Well, she said she was carrying a dog. Couldn't have been a huge dog.
Are you big enough to bite?
How big a dog?
A dog, he had 50-some teeth in his mouth, big enough to bite out, you know?
How big a dog?
A dog. It's not, you know, it's not no poodle, he was a dog.
Not a poodle?
No.
Okay, I find that you put yourself in harm's way by being stupid enough right after this altercation to walk by, arm yourself, looking for trouble, go out to eat, come back in the same direction, pass by his house, cross over to his side of the street. I mean, you're just looking for trouble. And you found it. You looked for trouble and you found it. You started...
Might I add one thing?
No, does it sound like you're losing?
Well, no, I just want to say one word.
No.
Huh?
I talk.
Okay.
Do you allow your wife to talk?
Yeah, I don't control my wife. She does what she pretty much wants to do.
Yeah, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. You had no right
I know.
to spray him in the face. He has to be compensated for that civilly if that's what he wants. Now,
That's
some
what I
of that
want.
has to be mitigated because, Mr. Butler, I believe that you got a little hot under the collar.
Yeah, but can I explain one thing to you?
I don't want you to explain anything to me. I want you to listen.
Yeah.
You got hot under the collar.
Very hot.
Right.
Yes.
Before you got sprayed with the mace.
No.
Sure you did. You were hot when you came down there to talk to her friend.
But I didn't go to her residence. She came to mine.
No. No. She didn't, Mr. Butler. You were sitting on your porch when she walked by. You went over towards Pam's house, where she was, and the two of you started talking. Now, your wife is sitting there, and she looks like a very nice lady, and she's nodding her head up and down. You got hot.
That doesn't excuse getting maced in the face. Doesn't excuse that at all. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500. Your counterclaim's dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
You're going to stand in front of the 90% black neighborhood and call everybody. You expect to get what you got coming to you.
Ralph, you didn't deserve what you got.